Good morning. Welcome, Stella.
Hi, welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. You have the wildly successful Rancho Relaxo, but you have a very long history in retail, which I want to get into that first. So tell us about yourself and we'll get into your history of retail.
Yeah, so my name is Stella Adena, and I am the owner of Rancho Relaxo. I'm originally from Ohio. Went to school on the East Coast, spent time in New York, San Francisco, and about a decade ago ended up in the paradise of the Coachella Valley, which I absolutely love. And so my shop celebrates desert modern, and I look forward to talking to you about that today.
I'm so excited. This, for people that are just tuning in, this is our first podcast that's going to be released on YouTube. So Stella is in her store, so we'll be able a chance to have her flip the phone around and kind of take us for a tour. So I'm super excited and sort of nervous about this. You have a long lineage in history in retail. Tell us a little bit about your past life.
Yeah, so let's see. I made a career change. 29, I went back to school. My undergraduate, I studied economics and Japanese, and started my career in finance, investment banking, and then the internet space. And at 29, I was working in the internet space this was, over 20 years ago at a then competitor of Google. And I just had a little bit of an identity crisis strolling the streets of San Francisco. And one thing I knew after working in both finance and the internet space is I wanted a tangible product. That's all I knew. I wanted to deal with tangible things. And through circumstance, I came upon the Academy of Art in San Francisco, got my master's in fashion merchandising, moved to New York City and got my start at entry level at Liz Claiborne. So my resume, I have quite a few defunct companies on my resume, but I started at Liz Claiborne, which was an amazing.
She was great. I mean, that was such a great company.
It was, and the people that I worked with were amazing. I mean, it wasn't even the beginning of the end. It was like the end of the end. It was a couple years before they acquired Kate Spade. And changed the name of the company, but met some of my dearest friends there. From there, went to Limited Brands, worked for a now defunct and quickly defunct. They were trying to launch like a Claire's Boutique concept. That lasted about a year. And then after that concept folded, I was hired again by Limited Brands to be a buyer at Henri Bendel. Also defunct.
That's
iconic retailer.
That is I mean, every time I'd go to New York before they were out here, and even when they're out here, it didn't really feel like Henri Bendel, but man, like I still remember vividly going through TSA. It was after 9/11, going through TSA, and I had just bought like the Henri Bendel gel and lotion, which I was obsessed with. And the freaking TCA people were like, this isn't however many ounces, and took it. And I literally started crying in the middle of TSA.
Yeah. It was amazing. Just to work with a company with such heritage in retail. I mean, the history of Henri Bendel, and sadly, a couple years ago it folded, and this was after Limited Brands owned it for, I think, 20 years. But my departments, I had their home fragrance. So I worked on their signature product development, their cosmetic accessories. So all of those brown and white cosmetic bags. I had gifting, I had their holiday ornaments, their fragrance department. So it was a really wonderful job. And I remember one of my, very early in my tenure there, we were setting holiday, and my department was holiday and the gourmet. And they said, okay, set your product. And so I, pulled out my product, and I'm literally setting a store window on Fifth Avenue with like zero experience. But I mean, it was like a pinch me moment, like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is what I'm doing. But it was really a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then from there, I went to Ralph Lauren, and I was the director of licensed accessories for Ralph Lauren. So I worked with the licensees and was really the gatekeeper between Ralph Lauren design and marketing and the licensing partners. So I have some really wonderful brand experience in very iconic American brands. And then from there, I that's when I moved out to the Palm Springs area. A former colleague of mine got a job at a private equity company that invests in leisure. And I got the job as a director of retail for their resorts. And at that time, I think there were 14 resorts in their portfolio that they managed the retail for. Almost 100 shops, classifications from, I mean, one of the shops had like a driving range, like an artillery driving range. So a really big range of product classifications. I worked with 5-star, 5-diamond properties on the National Historical Registry. And so I did branded product development for these iconic resorts. And so the combination of my Ralph Lauren, Henri Bendel, big brand experience, iconic brand experience, and then working for these resorts really solidified the importance of brand, celebrating sense of place, celebrating unique product. So product development and sense of place are really central to my retail philosophy.
Okay, I have so much I want to unpack right there because I mean, you have the resume in the retail world. It's like the dream. Like, I want to go back to first, what did you do for Liz Claiborne?
Liz Claiborne, entry level. I had no idea at all anything about retail or fashion. So I was 30 years old, new to New York City, and got placed in the accessory department. And I was a merchandiser for the Liz Claiborne jewelry brand. I worked on, I worked briefly with Lucky Jewelry, Shelley Siegel, Laundry by Shelley Siegel. So they had some amazing brands, but I was the merchandiser. So I worked
amazing for entry level.
Yeah, for with the designers and the product developers. So I learned an incredible amount. It was just, it was such an amazing organization and an amazing amount of talent that was there.
And then your first stint at Limited, what did you do when?
Well, that's when I was working for, it was a brand that they wanted to start called Diva. And it was a Claire's boutique model. So I think we had 6 stores in both the Ohio and DC area. So, and that was, I've often been in the role in my career of jumping in after it's already started and having to course correct. So that position was a lot of course correcting, which is a skill set that has really helped me to be able to be nimble and think about how do we solve this problem. But I jumped in and the brand had already started and wasn't headed the right direction. And time it eventually ran out on that opportunity.
And then so the shift from New York City to where you are now is very drastically different climate.
Yes, I'm a warm weather person.
So did you just decide pick up and like, I'm just going to start anew in a whole different city? I mean, that's a pretty major.
Yeah. I've always wanted to live in California. It's always been a dream of mine. I have an extreme aversion to cold weather. Here I am shivering right now and it's like 60 degrees outside. So yeah, this is, I was really lucky to end up here.
At what point, because you opened your stores right before the world changed.
Yes, November 15th, 2019. So I'm gonna walk over here to
first of all
my little balloon that I have here. I still have it. When people ask me how long I've been there, I'm like, I made it 2 years. Very, very proud of it. This is probably my biggest accomplishment in my career.
Okay, now I want to get down into the minutes. How did you come up with the concept of Rancho Relaxo?
Well, the idea of catering to a guest on retail is very near and dear to my heart after a decade of working in the resort space. It's a really wonderful guest, someone who's on vacation. They've got a different stomach. They've got a different wallet. What they're looking for is very different in terms of their buying habits. And the Coachella Valley, the Palm Springs area is very much a resort destination. And so I'd had in my mind, I think many people in retail think, oh, when I have my own store one day. And so I'd always had it in the back of my mind, this is what I'm going to do. And so my hand was honestly just forced. In advance of 2020, there were changes at my organization. They were relocating, and I didn't want to relocate. So I didn't really have a lot of options. I didn't want to move back to New York. I didn't want to move to LA. And there weren't really a lot of jobs. Well, there were no jobs for someone in my background in the Coachella Valley. And so I, in partnership with my husband, I said, the one thing I know how to do is have a store. And I was like, I'm thinking I'm going to do it. And so he supported me, and here we are.
I love that your husband supported you. God love the husbands, because my husband supports me in this. It's like, poor thing was trying to create something to cover all this behind us. I was like, just forget it. When you opened, where exactly is your store in the Coachella Valley?
It is honestly right smack in the middle. It's in Rancho Mirage. So there's, the Coachella Valley starts with Palm Springs, and it goes Palm Springs, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, then Indian Wells, La Quinta, Indio, Coachella. So there's, a string of towns that are each dotting along the 111 highway, and Rancho Mirage is pretty close to the middle. We're on 111 between Frank Sinatra and Country Club. And there's not a lot of retail in Rancho Mirage. There's a Bentley dealership, a Maserati dealership. Wow. There's a Porsche dealership, but not really a lot of retail. So I absolutely love it. I'm in the space that is formerly housed by the Coachella Valley Repertory Theater. So we've got 3,600 square feet. It's very spacious. They just happened to be moving out when I was moving in. I'm in a building that I'd never been to. I lived here, almost a decade before stumbling through these doors, and I absolutely love the space.
So when you opened, COVID happened just after that. So you haven't even been there during a Coachella. Like, no. With all those
no. And I often think, because people will often make a comment when they hear when I opened, they'll express pity, like, oh God, that sucks. I feel so bad for you. And I'm like, oh my God, at least I had 4 months. I had 4 months, before the world changed. And I just think, God, thank God I wasn't planning on opening like November or April 2020. I mean, that would have been really tough. So no, I haven't. And this will be an interesting year. My husband and I, we love going to the festival. And we already have our tickets. So it'll be very interesting to see. But honestly, nothing surprises or phases me at this point in my career.
No doubt, I can imagine. So what was that? I had a question. This is part of being 50 something that you can't remember what we were saying, but do me a favor. Will you turn the camera around? Because you just walked through that amazing hall with all of that.
Yeah. So let me give you a little bit of a tour.
Please.
Well, so here's the entryway. The whole space is it's covered by windows. And when the Repertory Theater was here, all of the windows were covered. In this space, there were 88 seats. Where the cash wrap is right here, this is where the stage was. So This is my cash wrap. I absolutely love the fiber arts. Yeah. So you'll see a lot of that on the wall. These are my sunglasses, a lot of work by local artists. This is Ryan Campbell. This is a mural by Sophia Enrique. And these are our dressing rooms. And these were the dressing rooms of the Repertory Theater. So let me turn the light here. They're huge.
Yeah.
And that's not even the big one. This is the big boy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're huge. So
Bedroom.
what's wonderful is a group of ladies, or a husband and a wife can go in. We give complimentary beverages. Um, so
So
here's
all the little, all the separation walls, those were all part of the theater.
Those were all part of the theater. I put up this wall here because there was some funky space, and we have a nice back office where we do our online fulfillment. We have our receiving. This is art by Palm Springs Life. They've been a really excellent partner. Wall decor is a very big classification for us. This is our, and I say this with air quotes, kids area. We sell a lot of stuffed animals, in particular Jellycat, and we sell it probably more to adults than to kids, but it's very fun, whimsical.
Who are the animal heads by? Those are fantastic.
That's near and dear. We sell a lot of these. So faux taxidermy.
So there's deers, there's I love the dinosaur head.
Yeah, the dinosaur. There's a lot of decoupage.
So what are some of the other brands kids in the kids department that you sell?
Well, we sell a lot of books, a lot of kids books, and I have a 4 and a 6-year-old. So all of our kids books have been child and adult tested. But, this is something that a sloth's guide to mindfulness, and then, the sloth down there.
Right. Cross merchandising, love.
We sell a lot of these to adults. Let's see.
I love the chain on top of the table. That's a fantastic display.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's I found this on the side of the road in Joshua Tree. So yeah, there's it's a really wonderful collection of product.
What I love is it's such a great mix of like vintage, modern, and new product. Is that, go back a little bit, do you have a personal care department?
Yes.
What are some of the lines that you do well?
Yeah, so here, this is where we have a lot of local product. Our soaps, this is Licata, this is Hippie Sister soap, are these beautiful sculptural soaps. And this is, we do a lot of branded product development. So this is something that
I love your logo.
Desert Supreme developed in partnership with us. It's a relaxing roll-on. It's a blend of grapefruit, patchouli, and Scots pine.
So what other, if we can switch back to your beautiful face, what other products do you do branding for?
Well, let's see. We just did a you've probably seen this bag.
Love that. That's got to be
the Apple's bag. So we did that. This is our EnviroSax bag.
I love your logo.
Thank you.
I want to get into your trailer in a second.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is something Pixie Tiles. She made these. What I found is the name Rancho Relaxo. Oh, here's this is also made in LA. This is rock scissor paper.
Our favorite rock scissors.
Yeah. So what I found, and I didn't expect this. I didn't ask anyone's opinion when I named my store. People love the name Rancho Relaxo, and it's from all walks of life. It's people name their home Rancho Relaxo. People say it's a state of mind. So I've been really pleasantly surprised at how that name resonates. This is, I'll take you over to our most popular area. This is our, here, I'll turn it around for you. This is our t-shirt wall.
Love that. So well done. Are those,
we sell a lot of t-shirts.
Are those did you wrap those around canvas stretch?
Wrapped around canvas.
Fantastic.
Diane, who works with me, did that project. And then I hired a professional. Two things I don't possess are accuracy and patience. So I hired a professional for that.
Yeah, amen to that. As a merchandiser, I do not have, I mean, unfortunately, because we have to be in another place every single day. So it's all about wrapping it up super fast. And at Anthro, we had the display coordinators, and they had so much patience to do the small detail. And I was just always like, when is it going to be done? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, not my skill, but it's good to know your limitations.
so now you've been open for 2 years. Tell me a little bit about how your trailer, because are you near the trailer? Can you walk to the trailer?
No, my trailer is currently housed at a very high-end trailer park, where she's neighbors with Bentleys and Maseratis. But I bring her out on occasion. She started as, here, I'm going to sit down in my dressing room. My idea was that we would take her on the road and go to farmers markets, which was really great from a branding perspective. I met a lot of my neighbors that way because she was parked in front of our house, but quickly realized after doing a event at a country club for a fundraiser for a local organization, they did a fashion show, that was really her future. And so we've had a couple of events at the Ritz-Carlton with big groups, big shopping groups. So I'm doing a proactive campaign to connect with country clubs, with resorts, with group planners to outsource or cool. to bring Rancho Relaxo to these events. And it's been really well received.
So when you do the events, do you bring little bits of the store with you? So it's basically a shop.
Yes. Yeah. We pack it all up. It's a lot of heavy lifting, and we have some custom fixtures that some I made, some one of my vendors made, and we set up a little Rancho Relaxo.
I love that. So tell me about, because I know you did sort of a GoFundMe project to get that project going. Tell people about, because I think that that's fascinating. I love how you did it.
Yeah, we did it through Mainvest. There's a really great entrepreneurial community out in Palm Springs. And so one of my favorite local brands did a campaign with Mainvest. And so I started that. I was able to raise almost $40,000 with 48 investors, and they're able to invest as little as $100. And I committed to a 1.6 investment multiple over 7 years. So what that means is if you invest $100 in 7 years, you will be paid back $160. And I pay quarterly. I pay a percent of revenue. I believe it's like 2.8% of my revenue. So I'll be able to pay that back sooner rather than later. And the money went to buying Sunny, renovating her. We completely gutted the interior. She's a 1961 Aljoa canned ham. So she's 16 feet, and she had a little kitchenette and a seating area and a bed. And I've realized after getting Sunny that I'm slightly claustrophobic, because I was going to renovate the kitchen, and then I was standing there and I was like, there is absolutely no way I'm ever going to be cooking in here. So we just gutted the whole thing. So she has a really beautiful wood interior. So I love the natural material. So it pays homage to how we found her. She had a wood interior, but we just made it a little bit more spacious. And then the most exciting part of Sunny has been partnering with a local artist named John Cuevas, who is a muralist who has a very similar sensibility to ours. He describes his sensibility as 1970 meets 2070, and he loves color. And so I've seen his work. The city of Palm Desert has quite a few of his murals around town, and I'd been a fan and reached out to him, and really were in sync in terms of sensibility. And it was his first time working with automobile quality paint and the nature of how it dries. And so he puts a little on each time. And so we would come home and there'd be like, a little a ray of sun or a shift in the colors. And one day we came home and there was our iconic Roadrunner was on Sunny. And I've driven her around town, finding parking spaces or, going to our destination. I've had had people follow, people taking pictures, and then people saying, oh my God, I saw you and Sunny. And it really has brought happiness to a lot of people, which makes me happy.
We'll have a link. I'm trying to, Lisa will figure out, we'll have a hyperlink to because it really, I mean, the trailer is so well done. The painting is amazing. And hopefully if you can do me a favor when you if you can send in his link as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll include a picture of Sunny. I love how you call her a her.
Yeah.
The painting is stunning. And I love how like the bag that you just showed. I love the fact that you included that artwork. I mean, are you going to use the artwork for other things for the store?
Yeah, I'm always developing. My logo was designed by a friend of mine in Cincinnati, Ohio. Her name is Katie Trevina. Her and her husband have a mini empire of restaurants and bars, and she's really a branding genius. And I've had quite a few people come into the shop who are in that area say, oh my God, your logo is amazing. Well, she designed the logo. And then
So good.
She gave me the branding elements, and she gave me a tutorial on Adobe Illustrator. And so a lot of these things I have done. I do my postcards, and I do on really nice cardstock.
Wow.
Love them. Yeah, they're really beautiful. So people love them. And I've had people, I'm currently working on a larger format, like a 20 by 24 version of this. But I get a little bored. And so every time I update it, let me show you one of
you did that. Let me go back to that for a second. You did that after a small lesson on Adobe. That's goddamn impressive. Wow.
Well, here, I'll share with you. So I do my advertising too. This is something that we did for Modernism. The Modernism Week magazine just came out. And so I took our Roadrunner, colored it, and then I was really looking at Andy Warhol and his advertising. And so this is our current version. I've been doing a lot with the repeat and colors of our Roadrunner.
Congrats on the best of the best.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be using that for a while.
Yeah, I would definitely. So you sell, okay, back up a little bit for me. You sell apparel as well?
Yeah. Our number one classification is definitely our logo t-shirts, followed by women's apparel. We did have apparel when we first opened, but sadly, John Varvatos was one of our best brands, was our strongest brand, and they went through bankruptcy. So I dropped men's for a while. We are going to be reintroducing menswear because probably 30% of our customers are men. Wow. And at this point, they all have the t-shirts, so they've been asking for more. So I'm going to go back into menswear, but we sell, ladies apparel. Dresses are our number one classification.
Show me your dresses and who are some of the brands you're selling.
So this is Corey Lynn Coulter.
That's so cute.
Made in LA. She designs all of her own prints. You can see, I mean, look at how beautiful. She always has the little creatures in her prints. Really cute.
I love the
really feminine, really unique. And her specialty is also dresses. So Corey Lynn Coulter's our number one brand. Strong number two is a brand called Fanini. And Fanini is also made in Southern California. Specialty also dresses. They do a lot with linen. They do a lot with slub cotton, with ribbed material, loose, flowy. So in our apparel as well, desert modern is the sensibility that we curate around. It's a very unique climate out here. And I mean, we can wear this type of clothes 11 months out of the year.
Yeah. The weather out there is so stunning. We're coming out, I guess in a couple of weeks to go meet with Bristol Farms out there.
Wonderful. Well, I hope we get to meet. Yeah,
I'm gonna try and come by because I'm tacking on a couple days to it just so I can have some time with my husband. It's like that's our favorite place. It's like the sun on the mountains up there and the sunset. I mean, it's It's so beautiful. So we'll try and come by for sure. Tell me a little bit about, it's just past show season. What shows did you do, and what did you find that you love?
So the last couple of years obviously changed how I do things. And also the last couple of years, not just what went on in the world, but operationally, I have a lot going on right here in the store. I've always loved LA. The the fashion district in LA is very convenient. I've been working with some of these brands for the better part of a decade. I have a pretty strong loyalty. I love working with people who, you understand how they work, they understand how you work. So really, it's been LA. I've really, for non-apparel, I've tapped into the online wholesale marketplaces. I found some amazing things. A lot of hits, but a lot of misses as well when you're buying online. It's not my favorite thing, but it's something that I tend to do in the middle of the night when I wake up and can't sleep. I'll go on and
you are probably the fifth or sixth person that does that, like in the middle of the night is shopping. And one of my clients says, this is what I find relaxing. I'm like, at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I know it's not healthy. But strangely, I even forgot that Vegas was happening. Vegas has been in such a state of flux even before the last 2 years. So I don't feel a big desire to go. We'll probably go in August because my husband goes to the PGA show at the same time. And we bring the kids and figure out, someone to watch them. So we'll probably do it in August. But right now I'm really lucky because a lot of my partners come to me, or if they change brands, they, let me know and I'll follow them. But that's how I've been proceeding with Rancho Relaxo. And then a lot of people come to me, especially local artists and artisans.
I know I just got back from Magic, and the Vegas just lifted their mask law across the board, and it was so bizarre walking through the show it was just weird because for the first time you've seen everybody's faces, like, and also there's still that sense of like, some people were still wearing their mask and some people weren't, but it was just, it's Vegas. The last Vegas gift show was actually really good. And it was great to see temps come back, like, and actually have some quality temps and some big, some bigger names there. Like it felt the most normal that it's felt probably in the last couple of years, which is really nice.
Yeah, I know I'm going to go back eventually. It's it's no small feat to find unique, well-made product.
Yeah. Where I always ask everybody, because out of anthropology, like we had a mandatory inspiration day. Where do you find inspiration?
A lot of my inspiration, just the nature of my life now with kids, is activities that I do with them, adventures that we do with them. It's really wonderful to look at the world through a child's eye. So I have that. I think both of my kids have a pretty strong sartorial sense, and they give me feedback on what I'm wearing or putting together. So that's currently where I'm getting a lot of my inspiration right now. I've been really fascinated lately with collage art. It's something that I've always loved, but now that I'm doing my own marketing and advertising, and collage really suits my limited skill set, I'm diving into that again, a lot with Pinterest in the middle of the night.
Oh my God. And okay, so now you wear a lot of hats, obviously, as the owner. Where do you find balance since you are up at 2 o'clock in the morning on Pinterest?
Okay. Not my strength. Yeah, I would say I'm probably a D minus at that right now. It is a strong intention. I'm not there currently, but I'm working on it. I've taken a couple of little steps in that direction. What I'm really lucky is that I'm growing my team, and one woman who works with me, her name is Diane, has been with me almost since the beginning. And her loyalty and ownership in the business, and helping to onboard other team members and really setting an example has really helped me enormously. So I think just continuing to build that talent on my team will get me closer to having the ability to have balance.
Well, it was great to see you at the zoo the other day with your daughter. So you
Yeah,
had a chance to
yeah.
get out and enjoy the sunshine, some time with your daughter.
Yeah, no, I'm really lucky. I couldn't be doing this if I had my life of a couple of years ago. So, I pick up my daughter and bring her school's a couple miles from here, and she's able to hang out at the shop, and she helps with customers and moves things around, and I see a future for her here, which is really exciting.
Oh, I love that. And do you have a son as well?
Yes, Enzo.
Great
He's
name.
also has a very, very strong point of view in terms of what he wears and how he presents himself.
I love it. Tell me a little bit about, because I hate saying how everyone had to quote pivot, but because you were so brand new when the world shut down, like how did you go about day to day, like after once everything was open, because I'm guessing that you were by yourself in the store, and everything that was going on, like how did you handle that as a brand new shopkeeper shop
Yeah,
owner?
well, I think probably the best tool in my arsenal was that I focused on what I had control over. Um, I've learned I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing, and I just focused on that. I tried to put on blinders to what was going on with the news and with everything else, and that helped maintain my sanity. During that time, or prior to that time, I was never really front and center on my social media. But because it was just me with a store full of clothes, I got a tripod, I got a little timer, and I just started taking pictures of myself, which
Good for
was a
you.
billion miles outside of my comfort zone. I mean, I'm not a small woman. I'm a extra large size 14, and I just put on the clothes and took a lot of pictures. I'd take hundreds of pictures to edit it down to like one. And that, I think, touched a nerve with people. People liked seeing me, and I didn't expect that because I'm not a model. I'm not the most beautiful person that I've ever taken pictures of, but I'm putting on the clothes, and people liked it. And then when Instagram went into Reels, I was like, oh God, that sounds not fun. But I was like, I'm going to do it because this is, the new direction. And so I started doing
Ah,
Reels, and I had a couple, I don't know what constitutes going viral, but I had a lot of people watching.
that's
My most
fantastic.
popular video was me walking down 111 when it was like 120 degrees outside.
That's
And
fantastic.
so I kind of entertained myself with going out on social media, which was not my intention from the beginning. It's not something that motivates me or inspires me to be front and center. I don't love being the center of attention, but I did it, and it was really empowering.
I love
So
that so much. Just exactly what you said. I mean, I have said it a million times that what happened when the pandemic, for those who pivoted and reacted and went so far out of their comfort zone, really both for themselves as well as for their business, really pushed it forward. I mean, and there are people that were not comfortable in front of the camera and still didn't do it. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know if they're still in business, but that is phenomenal to hear that you got out of your comfort zone. And I love that.
And I have to say, I actually really like it now. And
Good.
videos, especially because, you know, all you need is like 2 seconds at a time. It's pretty easy if you take a minute of video to find 2 seconds where you like turn and the shadows, the angles are just right. And you know, my husband's into it now. He's like, oh, are you going to shoot a video? Can I come? And so,
I
you know,
love
we go
it.
on little adventures, and it's very empowering to be able to do your own thing. And I mean, that's the same with my advertising. I mean, to be able to, you know, I say this with air quotes because it may take me not that much time to execute it, but you know, for the Modernism Week advertisement that I showed you, I spent a lot of time thinking and then a lot of time researching Andy Warhol. And then, you know, the actual execution took me only a couple of minutes, but super empowering that I can do this myself.
That's amazing. I asked people 2 last questions. I've unfortunately forgotten to ask the last couple people, but one is, where do you see Rancho Relaxo in the next 10 years?
Well, I think my future is definitely continuing to develop my own product, um, and continuing to partner with designers. You know, as a good example, one of my favorite jewelry designers, she's local, her name is Marla, and she did
Oh, I
this.
love that.
Yeah, so it says curious, joyous, fearless.
Oh, that's
And
great.
it's not, you know, I've learned it's best when these partnerships reflect as much the other brand and the designer. So doing more things like that are exclusive to me. I'm very interested in pursuing wholesale, so that other stores can carry Rancho Relaxo. I'm interested in going heavier into other classifications. You know, just as a little anecdote of something that I sell that is was shocking to me is, I'll take you into our crystal area now. We
Yeah.
sell a lot of crystals.
Yep.
A
I know.
lot of
Yeah.
crystals. And so my husband and I went to Quartzsite and got no small amount of, this is carnelian, this is labradorite, selenite. And so I'm working on putting together collateral that explains the power and characteristics of these stones.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm going to be promoting on Instagram and other channels, because I think there's a real value to it. And so I've developed a little logo for my rock collection. It's called Rocks. It's RRROCKS. It's got a cute little logo. So I'm going to be doing that, and just continuing to develop my own product. I mentioned wholesale, and then really partnering with resorts, country clubs to have events and to develop really wonderful and unique amenity packages for people who are coming to the Coachella Valley to really celebrate what the valley has to offer.
That's phenomenal. The last question I have is, any advice for someone opening a store out of their norm?
I would say, you know, I was forced into doing a lot of things on my own, but really try to understand the inner workings of your organization. Because I found that I'm working towards delegating, but in order for me to successfully delegate, I need to know how to do something. And so understanding the nuances behind all of the different parts of your business, from visual merchandising to buying to advertising, marketing, is going to make you a very powerful force.
phenomenal piece of, that's probably the best piece of advice I've heard in a while. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Will you tell us where to find you on social media?
Yes. So Rancho Relaxo on Instagram, Rancho Relaxo CA on Facebook. Our website is ranchorelaxoca.com. And we are in the heart of the Coachella Valley on 111 between Frank Sinatra and Country Club and Rancho Mirage.
And we will have all of these links hyperlinked in our website so you can find them. But thank you so much. I so look forward. I'm going to really, really try our best to get out there.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was really wonderful.
You're so welcome.